What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my first video. My name is Michael and I used to take steroids. So, I want to start this off with a question. What is your opinion on somebody who used to take steroids and doesn't anymore? Are they considered natural, or what do you think? Because I've read studies about how it can affect your muscles at like a cellular level, and you can achieve gains that you wouldn't be able to achieve if you hadn't taken them in the first place. So I'm also aware of the fact that it can totally mess up your natural testosterone production, and you could possibly never recover back to normal. So I'm not sure what the consensus is on that. So what do you think about that? So I'm starting this channel for two reasons. The first reason is that I think we need to set more realistic expectations for people getting into bodybuilding. I know when I first started back in 2010, nobody really talked about enhancement. Everyone was a fake natty. People were selling their supplements and their workout programs while taking hella juice, which is, selling programs and supplements is fine, but if you're claiming natty and you're also selling these programs to people, acting as if they can achieve what you have naturally, I think that's a bunch of bullcrap, and I know I personally fell for some of these scams. So I know it's a little better now in 2021 than it was back in 2010, but I think we still have a lot further to go. I also think that good info should be more easily accessible to anyone who wants to learn about it, because I don't condone the use of steroids recreationally, but I realize people have been taking it for decades and people will continue to be taking them. So if we can prevent unnecessary damage to their bodies by having this information more accessible, I don't see how that's a bad thing. In this channel, I plan on detailing my personal experiences and opinions of individual compounds, post-cycle therapies, different workout programs that I tried, and whatever else you guys might be interested in learning about. And the last reason I'm starting this channel is I haven't seen any other channels out there about somebody who used to use and is trying to get back into bodybuilding naturally, or whatever you consider it, renatural, I don't know. I know it's something that I would be interested in watching, so I figured might as well just make it. Zoom in. Oh my, I guess you can't zoom in. So for a little bit of my own personal history, I was that fat kid for most of my life. I always wanted to get into shape, but I never really knew how to. And then I finally joined a gym for the first time after graduating high school in 2010. From there, I tried a bunch of different workout programs, and I made some decent progress for the next 5 years. And then I started researching steroids in 2013, and it took me 2 years of researching to finally commit to it and hop on my first cycle. So I don't know how it is now, but back then on the internet, all the forums were saying that the regular beginner cycle was 500 milligrams of test E per week. So that's what I did. And from there, after my first cycle, I experimented with a bunch of different compounds, Test, Anavar, Tren, Winstrol, Master, and some other stuff. I cycled on and off a few times, and I blasted and cruised for pretty much the remainder of 5 years up until 2019. And I came off in 2019. I still worked out, and then the COVID lockdown happened, and I used that as an excuse to stop working out. I stopped keeping track of my diet, and I totally let go of myself. And over the next 7 or 8 months, I went from 195 to almost 230 pounds. And then in November 2020, I started building my own home gym because I was tired of the lockdowns, tired of being fat. And I'm back down as of now to 205. So 195 to 230 to 205. My current goal now is to see how close I can get back to my peak physique and strength levels during cycling in 2019 without any help from anabolics. I'm still about 10 pounds heavier than I was at my peak, so for now my current goal weight is about 195, another 10 pounds to lose, which I'm aiming to get back to in the next 2 or 3 months. And I'm assuming I've lost some muscle mass since cycling, so I'll get to that goal weight and adjust from there. One of my biggest regrets about cycling is that I didn't get my blood work taken before my first cycle. So since I don't know what my natural test level was, I'll never know if I ever fully recovered. I was tested a few times during cycle to confirm that my stuff was legitimate, which it was, and I've been tested twice since cycling off in 2019. One was right after my PCT, which my test levels came back at 307 nanograms per deciliter. 308. And the second test was just this year, which came back at 374 nanograms per deciliter. Now, while both these numbers are within the range, I personally think that both of these levels are really low. And most general doctors don't realize this, but the range it doesn't account for age. Like the age range for the normal range is like 20 to 90. So while I'm towards the lower end of the normal range, it's what you would expect like an 85-year-old to be at. Like as you can see in this next chart. It's basically comparable to that of an 85 to 100-year-old man. So that's pretty cool. I will say, however, that I've seen some guys way lower than I'm at now, like under 100 nanograms per deciliter. So I'm somewhat comforted by the fact that I at least partially recovered. You know, it's still possible that I was always this low, but I'll never know for sure. Regardless, I'll still be trying everything I can to get my levels as high as possible through the means of diet, exercise, nutrition, getting proper rest, and lowering my body fat. So I'll keep testing myself and see how it goes from here. A question I get asked a lot is if I'll ever use again. And the short answer is most likely. When I first started using, I had already come to the acceptance of the fact that I might be permanently messing up my endocrine system, and I totally might mess up my natural test production. So I was already committed to the idea that I might at least be on TRT for the rest of my life. The fact that I'm off now and trying to see what I'm capable of again naturally is kind of like an unexpected experiment. So I can see myself getting to a point where I get back on I get onto legit TRT, maybe in my 30s or something. I'm 28 now. And when it comes to that point, I'll probably run a few small blasts of just like test or something, but we'll see when it gets to there. For now, I'm just gonna stick to my plan of doing as much as I can and see what I can push myself to naturally. After learning so much about steroids, I've realized how common it is for older men to be on some kind of hormone replacement therapy, and you wouldn't really know otherwise if you didn't look into it, but a lot of the older celebrities and actors that are in really good shape still and look really good, there's a 99% chance they're on at least TRT. So, and I think that about wraps up everything I want to say in my first video. My next video will be about my opinions and experience with testosterone by itself. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll do my best to answer. And yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And my cat.